When we think of the Holocaust, names like Auschwitz and Dachau come to mind. But in the hills of Austria, Mauthausen stands as one of the most brutal and overlooked camps. It was a fortress of death, where prisoners were worked and tortured until they broke, their lives valued less than the granite they quarried. Mauthausen was among the first large camps outside Germany and one of the last to be liberated. Classified as Category 3, it was reserved for those the Nazis never intended to release. Extermination through labor was its purpose. Here, prisoners from across Europe, political enemies, intellectuals, Jews, Soviet POWs, were stripped of identity and dignity. Yet even in this abyss, some resisted, preserving evidence and hope. To understand Mauthausen is to confront the darkest extremes of Nazi cruelty. Its story is not a footnote, but a central chapter in Holocaust history. By remembering Mauthausen, we honor its victims and the lessons their suffering imparts. In 1938, after the Anschluss, the SS built Mauthausen near a granite quarry in Austria. The Nazis needed stone for their grand projects, and prisoners would pay for it with their lives. The first inmates, brought from Dachau, built their own prison, barracks, watchtowers, and electrified fences. Mauthausen was designed to intimidate, a visible symbol of Nazi power. The quarry was the camp's heart, where forced labor and extermination merged. The SS profited from slave labor through their company DS, while the work itself was a death sentence. Starvation, exposure, and brutality were daily realities. As the war expanded, so did Mauthausen, becoming the center of a vast network of sub-camps. Prisoners included Polish intellectuals, Spanish Republicans, Soviet POWs, and Jews from across Europe. For most, arrival at Mauthausen meant certain death. The camp was engineered for relentless, systematic extermination. Life in Mauthausen was a cycle of terror and dehumanization. Prisoners lost their names, possessions, and dignity, reduced to numbers in striped uniforms. Days began before dawn with endless roll calls, often in brutal weather, under the threat of random violence. Work in the quarry was torturous, rations were meager, and starvation was constant. SS guards and capos ruled by fear, beatings and executions were routine. Disease swept through overcrowded barracks. The infirmary was a place to die, not heal. Psychological torment was ever present. Prisoners lived in constant fear, witnessing daily atrocities. The camp was designed to crush hope and isolate its victims. Survival demanded unimaginable physical and mental strength. Most perished from exhaustion, violence, or disease. Mauthausen's system aimed to erase not just lives, but the very idea of resistance. Yet some clung to their humanity, even in the face of relentless despair. The infamous stairs of death, 186 uneven steps carved into the quarry, became a symbol of Mauthausen's cruelty. Prisoners hauled massive granite blocks up these treacherous stairs, often collapsing under the weight. SS guards turned the ordeal into a sadistic game, pushing or shooting those who faltered. A single stumble could trigger a deadly chain reaction, killing many at once. The stairs embodied the camp's philosophy, relentless, pointless suffering as a tool of extermination. To survive even a day on the stairs of death was a rare miracle. Beyond forced labor, Mauthausen used direct methods of murder: gas chambers disguised as showers, lethal injections, and mass shootings. The parachutists' wall saw prisoners forced over a cliff to their deaths. Sadistic punishments, like death showers in winter, were common. Amidst this horror, acts of resistance emerged. Spanish prisoner Francisco Bois and others risked their lives to secretly photograph camp atrocities. They smuggled thousands of negatives out, documenting the crimes and faces of both victims and perpetrators. These images became crucial evidence at the Nuremberg trials. In a place built to erase memory, these prisoners ensured the world would know the truth. Their courage gave a voice to the dead and demanded justice. Even in darkness, resistance and hope endured. In May 1945, as the Third Reich collapsed, the SS tried to erase evidence of their crimes at Mauthausen. American troops liberated the camp, finding thousands of dying survivors and unburied bodies. The suffering did not end with liberation. Many died from starvation and disease in the aftermath. Perpetrators were brought to justice in the Mauthausen trial. Many were convicted. Today, Mauthausen stands as a memorial and museum, preserving the barracks, quarry and stairs of death. It is a place of reflection and a warning to future generations. Remembering Mauthausen is a moral imperative. It reminds us of the fragility of civilization and the dangers of hatred. The story of Mauthausen is a vital lesson in both cruelty and courage. We must remember to honor the dead and to guard against such evil ever rising again.